Good morning, everyone. My name is Patrick Baker. I'm going to be leading the presentation today. Thanks for your time. We have a variety of individuals from across the country. Let me just get started. So I'm hoping to introduce you to who we are as the Answer Company, provide an overview of who Acumatica is from both a corporate and a technology overview, and then really jump into the product. You know, our intention today is to give you a better understanding of who we are as the reseller, who Acumatica is as the publisher, and a look and feel of the software. So the Answer Company, founded over 27 years ago, head office in Vancouver with offices in Toronto, Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, and Portland, Oregon. Over 130 team members, 2,000 customers across the country. Since 2018, through our corporate social responsibility program, we've delivered over 25,000 volunteer hours. We continue to grow quite rapidly at 115% annual growth, and we're Acumatica's #1 partner in Canada. On March 31st, the Answer Company acquired Constructive Solutions for Business, which now has become a division of the Answer Company. For 23 years, our sole focus was construction and real estate. We had amassed over 750 clients across the country who relied on our services and our systems to pay their employees and pay their vendors and do financials for their group of companies, all within the construction and real estate marketplace. So through the acquisition, all 23 of my employees became employees of the Answer Company. So now the Answer Company is the largest systems integrator focused on construction and real estate in Canada. You know, the Answer Company has been recognized as a great workplace, one of the best workplaces, Small Business of the Year. Bob Scott rates value-added resellers across North America, and the Answer Company consistently ranks in the top Canadian VARs resellers. You know, I mentioned corporate social responsibility. As an employee, I get to select a cause and donate four days of my time to that charity. In addition, the company identifies charities that we partner with on a corporate level, and I'm expected to deliver an additional 4 days per year working with those organizations. When you look across 130 employees and 8 days per employee, it's like having 3 full-time employees that are focused on giving back into the communities in which we serve. So the Food Bank, Cancer Society, Children's Hospital, you know, Down Syndrome, Autism Network, Heart and Stroke Foundation. Again, as employees, we're asked to bring forward charities that we'd like to involve in our program in the communities that we work. The services that we provide, we help customers evaluate what their requirements are and align and present different solutions from our portfolio. So that's over here in the management consulting. Should you decide to proceed, we're there every step of the way to get you implemented. So take you through a discovery and a configuration and a user acceptance training, and we're there for your go live support. We're there for your first AP check run and your month end to support the training that we've delivered. We have a team of developers. These new modern technology stacks and modern technology cloud-based ERP solutions are very customizable. They're platforms, and so there's a team of developers. If there's anything that we need to really tailor within the solution to wrap around your business processes, we can do that. You know, corporate performance management. You know, we have with our access to over 750 construction-based customers. You know, we see best practices out in the marketplace. We see how our customers are performing in their respective fields, and we can bring those KPIs back and compare your company against how your peers are doing. For some of our older legacy-based solutions, we do virtual hosting and support right down to the desktop. So it's our responsibility to understand your requirements, to help you through your buying cycle, and to see the system through implementation and to provide ongoing support. Acumatica is the publisher that we're focused on today in this presentation. The Answer Company's been an Acumatica partner since 2016. On a construction perspective, construction and real estate, we've partnered with Acumatica since 2018, as soon as they had their first version of the Construction Edition, leveraging their existing financials and project accounting and field service applications. Their head office in Seattle, Washington, it was a group of ex-Microsoft staff who didn't believe that Microsoft was moving to the cloud for ERP solutions at the right pace, so they broke off and they started what today is Acumatica. They've grown over the years. There's over 45 developers in Montreal, Mexico City, and Moscow is where the main development is done. All services and support from a corporate perspective from Acumatica are out of Columbus, Ohio, and they were acquired in 2019 by EQT Partners, a private equity group out of Sweden, which has really helped shore up our financials and allow us to grow more rapidly. Since having a product come to market in 2010, they have over 8,000 customers. They continue to grow quite rapidly. Over 425 employees, of which 85% are in R&D. So programmers and product managers and business analysts. You know, there's a partner advisory council, there's a customer advisory council. Acumatica listens to us as partners and as you as customers to develop their roadmap. They're really focused on technology, which is what I look for in a publisher. You know, it's that they don't sell their product direct. They feel like a local presence and local expertise and domain expertise is really key in the successful deployment and developing satisfied customers, which they monitor on an ongoing basis. As an Acumatica customer, you're surveyed. You're asked to complete a survey on an annual basis to rank your Net Promoter Score. So, and that impacts how I'm remunerated as a partner. So we're all pulling on the same rope, looking to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction. You know, consistently, Acumatica is ranked highest in usability, which you'll see when I jump into the product. It's a very intuitive design, very modern, clean look and feel. A lot of hyperlinks that allow you to drill down into the software. You know, the solution that we're talking about today is anywhere, anytime, on any device. Certainly, there was momentum building in the marketplace pre-COVID for cloud-based solutions, but certainly it's been accelerated through COVID with staff working from home offices, site offices in the construction industry. So no matter where you are, you can access the data that you require to be effective in your role. Acumatica has an unlimited licensing model. They feel the more people that are in the software, the better. So it's a predictable annual subscription that is limited to only 3% growth per annum. So it's very predictable, and it's very predictable as you look to grow your business and get more of your staff into the software. These modern cloud-based ERP solutions are very transparent. Acumatica has an open university with learning paths and unlimited online training as a part of your subscription. You know, it's our responsibility as the answer company to understand your business and to get you implemented and configured and train your staff. But there's certainly learning aids and videos and tutorials that you can take in anticipation of our training and as follow-up to our training on how to set up a customer, how to set up a vendor, how to set up a project, how to enter a budget. All of these are little vignettes that you can, video tutorials that you can review online. The XRP platform, I believe, defines what a modern technology stack is. You know, back in 2008, when they founded Acumatica, they selected some tools, HTML5, the .NET Framework, and Visual Studio. Those three tools in their kit have proven to be the tools of choice when developing these cloud-based ERP solutions. All of your data resides in Canada. So this is a true cloud-based solution with no footprint, no technology footprint within your office. All you need is a browser to access it, and that's all included in your annual subscription. It's been developed on a very scalable SQL database with very robust security. You know, it has full document management, a localized Canadian version for English and French, and it's CRA ready, it's T5018 ready. It has, you know, it's EFT ready for payments upstream to the Canadian banks. No limit to the number of companies, no limit to how those companies are organized, full intercompany accounting, consolidated financials, the localization as multi-currency. In 2008, when they just started designing the platform, everybody was already walking around with a cell phone. So everything that you can do within the web browser extends out to the mobile framework, which I'll show you. There's a full workflow engine within that ties into the notification management. So I can create workflows when I'm setting up a project, when I'm issuing a PO, or entering it when I'm processing an AP invoice. I can create a workflow and route it through an approval process. Issuing of a subcontract, a change order. What do we do before we invoice our customers? Again, these workflows can be created around any of your business events based on your business rules. The APIs, so they're web service APIs. API stands for application interface, which allow us to create seamless integration out to a number of different industry point solutions, and I'll cover those in the next slide. I mentioned it's a customization framework, so if there's features that you're looking for that aren't a part of the software, we can build those out for you. Again, it'll work on any browser, on any device, whether you're on a Mac or a PC or Chrome or Explorer. All of those are supported. When they started out in 2010 and had their first product for market, it had financials and CRM, client relation management. And they had success in competing in that space, just providing, core financials, multi-company, multi-currency, intercompany accounting consolidations, all of that was a part of that core. They then looked to go into other vertical markets, and they identified distribution and manufacturing. So they built out an order management and a full inventory control solution, and not some of the manufacturing specific MRP components. In 2016, they were looking for additional verticals to go into, and they identified construction as being a bit of a laggard in technology. So they did a gap analysis, and they started building out the necessary components to have a construction edition. That came out in 2018. So over that 2-year period, they built in budget management and commitment management, so PO and subcontract control, change order management, both downstream to the subcontracts and upstream to the owners, full contract billing, so cost plus billing, progress type style billing, unit-based billing are all part of the construction edition. And then we have the field services and work order management. So, where you can create a work order, you can dispatch that work order, your technicians in the field can interact with that work order and complete that work order. And that work order can be flipped into an invoice, or the costs associated with that work order can all roll back to a project. So very, very full featured offering. Those web service APIs really allow us to create seamless integrations. And these are integrations that exist today that all have a construction focus, right? So Acumatica, your cloud-based ERP solution, sits here. But Procore is a collaborative project management solution. ProEst is an estimating solution. Smartsheet is a scheduling solution. All are software as a service and subscription-based products with unlimited users. And again, it seems to be a theme of the direction that the group is heading. So there's a number of different point solutions that we can easily create integrations to with that exist out in the marketplace. Office 365 seamlessly integrates, Power BI, DocuSign. I can create a subcontract or a purchase order. I can issue that out of Acumatica. It'll create an envelope. It'll send that for signature. Once signature is digitally put onto the document, it'll come back as an attachment natively within Acumatica. So now I'll jump to the product. I'm just moving up to another browser. I was on Beautiful AI where I've set up my presentation. Now I'll go into the product itself. I haven't been in here in a little bit. Maybe I should refresh it just to make sure it's up and it's responsive. So when you log in, you put in your username and your password, and that's really going to dictate what it is that you can see, what access to applications, reports, inquiries you have. And so it'll dictate the dashboard that will pop up to support you in your role and responsibility. It'll impact the work groups that you have access to. As a project manager, I'm signed in as an administrator, so I get to see everything. But if I was a project coordinator, well, maybe I'd just see the project management application, or I'd see just the construction application. I wouldn't see payroll, I wouldn't see finance, I wouldn't see banking. So again, your username and password really drives the dashboards that we deliver and the tasks within the software that you can access. I'm currently in a project overview dashboard. The project overview dashboard might be for an owner or a VP of operations, someone who's looking across all jobs. So here I have one line per job. The job number is user definable, as are the cost codes that we use. This is just a demo database that's been set up to feature some of the highlights within the Construction Edition. So on one line per job, I can see what my revised estimate is. I can see what my cost to date are. I can see what open commitments, so POs and subcontracts that I've issued against this job. I can see what my remaining estimate is. You know, down below we have our contract status by project. So when you set up a job, you set up the contract and define the billing relationship with the customer. Here I have an original contract, and I have approved changes to that contract to a revised contract that I can be progressing down against. You know, here's a list of every change order that's open and outstanding in the system across all projects. Here I can see graphs or charts on remaining estimate by project. We can embed web pages. So this is a job camera, might have weather up. There's different, if there's material vendors or rental groups that you deal with on an ongoing basis to support you in your role. If you're a centralized purchaser, you know, your dashboard is going to look a little different, but we can embed web pages. Here I'm looking at another inquiry, gross profit by project. So one line per job. I can see what our revised contract is, right? The original plus any approved changes, what my revised estimate is. So that might be an original estimate plus approved changes to a revised estimate. And from there, I can get what my anticipated gross profit is and what percent gross profit we're tracking on that project. If you're accustomed to using Excel, you might know about pivot tables. So what pivot tables are is they allow you to, we've created, you can embed pivot tables natively within the Acumatica dashboards, giving me the same drill down capabilities. So this is one line, whoops, I'm getting in my pivot table, I'm looking at the pivot table is showing me, oops, I should just go up a little bit. I'm looking at my budget amount, my revised amount, open committed, actual costs, the variance amount, my cost at complete or cost to complete we can bring in here as we support forecasting and cost projections. So this is just one type of dashboard. I can go in and design and add different things to it. We also have dashboards for other roles. So if you're a project manager, this is organized, again, this is more supporting me in my role and responsibility. So in my dashboard, it's going to have things that are awaiting my review and my approval. It's going to focus just in on the jobs. Here it comes. It's going to focus just in on the jobs that I'm managing. So I have things like ball in court. So whether it's a project issue or an RFI or a shop drawing or submittal, my items waiting approval. So again, if I'm involved in any of the workflows that have been set up, all of those specific items will be here. My tasks, my overdue tasks, my late project tasks. So, and then I can drill down into any of these widgets and I can get to an inquiry screen. And then I can filter by any of these. In any of these grids, I get to control the columns and which columns we see and the order of those columns. So again, I was in a dashboard, I moved back to that project dashboard, I moved down in. So this is, you know, my change order log, things of those, project issues, project summaries on the, again, focus more on who I am as an individual within the company. If I'm a controller, it's going to serve up different information to support me in my financial capacity. So cash required in 30 or 60 days, cash expected, what's my cash position? Overdue customers, overdue payments, you know, on credit, customers who are on credit hold, vendor payments on hold. And again, I can drill down into any one of these different widgets to find out more information. So those are just a few of the dashboards. When I come back to my main dashboard, I can always just click through the link, the icon up in the corner, it'll bring me back to my home dashboard. So now I could drill down into a project to see what we're managing at a project level. So by all of the blue lines here, they're all hyperlinks. And those hyperlinks will take me right to the job or take me right to the change order. So depending, or take me right to the contract to show me where I am in that contract. So by going through onto Burnaby Business Park, it brings up all the information I need to track on this job. So before I get into the different tabs and talk about what we manage at a project level, I thought I'd just bring you up to speed on the work groups over on the left-hand side. So again, these are groupings of features within certain applications in the Construction Edition. So again, if you manage an inventory, then you would look at adding our inventory, where you could purchase to inventory and then release from inventory to a job. If you have a service management or a work order requirement for your company, you might acquire the service and work order management. Again, payroll, some are just included in the bundle, obviously. So if I go to construction, here are the tasks that I can perform. So I can show a subset of the tasks, reports, and inquiries, or I can show all. So I get control of my menus. Further, I can take any one of the tasks and create tiles that will allow me to jump right to that specific task, or I can highlight those and I can add them to my favorites. So within the Construction Edition, we set up projects. We have a concept of project tasks, which can be a job within a job or an area of a job, or it can be a grouping of cost codes. We have cost codes and cost types. So labor, material, subcontract, equipment. I enter budgets. I can do forecasts against the budgets and cost projections, where we can take and spread the costs out over time. I do potential change orders. I manage potential change orders here and owner change orders that get approved and onto the contract. We do our pro forma billing here, so our progress type invoicing. We issue subcontracts for against the project, and we manage the holdback on the subcontracts, as well as the holdback on our contracts, our AR contracts with customers. Can you enter employee time? Great question. Yes. So within time and expenses, we have the ability for employees to enter their time, or for a foreman or a supervisor to enter time on a daily or a weekly basis. Those time cards can be copied. So if I have a crew that's out working and I want to copy that, I can copy it. I can then take that time and take it through an approval process. Again, if I come up, we do time, and we also do expenses. So expense receipts and expense claims, and we can create workflows around those. And again, all of this extends out to the mobile. So if I come up to project management, we do project issues and requests for information and shop drawings and daily field reports and drawing management. And we can create photo logs, and we can use issues to do discrepancy or deficiency management and the like. So if I come up to favorites, these are tasks within each of the work groups that I've identified as common tasks. I've set them up in this manner because I typically walk through and speak to them during the demonstration. But again, I can have quick access to those tasks that I need access to be more effective in the software. So again, favorites brings items from construction, project management, time and expense management, purchasing, right? Our purchasing is very robust. So whether you're just issuing purchase orders in the field, you can have requisitions, you can purchase to inventory and relieve from inventory, you can do partial receipts, you can capture packing slips in the field and associate with those with the AP invoices or the purchasing receipts that come in. Again, it all extends out to the field. So maybe what I'll do here, I'll jump back to that project. One of the cool tasks, maybe I'll come up here and I'll show you the capabilities of the search. When I start typing, it'll find every menu item, any attachments, help topics, and any files that are associated with bill. So when I speak to intuitive design, all you need to know is how to type. You know, am I looking to bill an expense claim? Am I looking to bill my customer and run my project billings, cost plus or progress type? Am I looking to enter an AP invoice, right? So down here, you know, we've got bill of materials, transactions. So they call entering an AP invoice a bill. So bill comes up with quite a few menu items across the system. Here I can see help across the system on any type, any help related to bill. And further, so I might have finding a particular bill, customer billing configuration, billing rate tables to support my cost plus billing, billing rules, billing cycles, billings with retainage and holdback. You know, if a vendor calls in and they're asking about the status of their invoice, if I know the invoice number 95963, I can type that in. It'll take me right, it'll present that AP invoice entry grid for me. So it takes me exactly where I'm looking to be, and it informs me I've got the vendor on a call. He wants to know the status of this, so I can go into financial details or payment history, and I can find out, you know, the approval. Did it go through an approval? Where is it in that approval? If this was assigned to an AP workflow, the approval details, and it would say, tell me exactly where it is and what the status of that invoice is. But you can see there's the invoice number. Back here in the document details, it was this invoice was coded against this job and this cost code and against this PO, right? So we issue purchase orders. Those are committed costs sitting in the system. So when AP invoices come in, I can reconcile that AP invoice back against the PO if one was issued. Or if there was a subcontract issue, I could distribute this AP invoice as a subcontractor draw. Up here, you'll see that there's files attached, right? So as we're routing this through an approval process, we're building out a docket. If you're using our paperless AP approval, here I have a copy of the invoice. I have a copy of the purchase order that it was distributed against. I can see when it was acquired, who entered it, who approved it, who reviewed it and posted it. The system is automatically keeping track of all this. If there's notes or if it's on hold and Mike Smith put it on hold or sent that invoice back to the vendor because we're not going to pay it until those 2 toilets are installed in the 4th floor, all of that would be here and listed. If there's packing slips for materials that have been received in the field, I can associate those, and this docket is what gets routed through the approval process. These attachments are throughout the system. So whether you're creating an attachment on the project, at the PO, at the subcontract, it's there and at your fingertips throughout the system. I'll close that bill and attachments. I'll punch back here. I'll go back into whenever I'm in the system. So that vendor called and I wanted to know where I was. I have a complete history of exactly where I went in the system, letting me know. So if I need to get back to a Burnaby Business Park, I have easy navigation to where I was before I was interrupted and asked about the status of that invoice or the status of that change order. So now I'm back on the project. You know, this is a common page throughout the system. You'll notice that there's header information. So I've got my project ID. I've got the customer identified here. I've got a description of that project. You know, the currency. We can set up a company in a currency. We can set up a project in a currency. We can issue a PO in a currency. We can enter an AP invoice in a currency. All of it will come back to the base currency of the project for project reporting or to the company for company reporting. Here I'm getting some natural accumulators, the status on this project, but I have my actual income, my actual expenses, and my margin that we're tracking on. Here I'm getting into some of the project properties. When we set up projects, we can create templates, and we can just, when we want to go create a project, we can just grab a template and it'll populate a number of these things. But here I'm identifying who the project manager is, maybe who the project coordinator is, what the project address is for shipping, who the customer is, what the contract type is, what the invoice format is that we want to roll to. We do full company divisional departmental reporting, so I can say which branch this job is owned by. Do I want to allow for the creation of my progress billing natively within the job? Do I want to automatically release my holdback on the contracts? Are we going to production units, or do I want to use our change order workflow on this project? Again, a variety of different attributes. These are just attributes when setting up a project. Here I can pop in and I can look at what my cost budget is. So when we set up a job, we set up the budget and we enter that original budget. You know, here I'm looking at a grid. So I have a task or a sub job. I have a cost code. I have a cost type. I have a description of that cost code. The tasks, the cost codes, and the cost types are all user definable. This is using a divisions 1 through 16 cost code structure. But again, depending on your discipline, we can accommodate any type of cost code structure. I have an original budget. I have changes to that budget. And when using our change order management, I have a full audit of every change that came from the original budget to the revised budget. Here I can see what my original committed amount was, which maybe I want before my revised committed amount. So I can drag and drop these columns as I see fit. I can sort on any of these columns if I choose, and I can do ascending or descending to find out where my biggest commitments are, or my biggest budget line item. I get to control these grids and control the order of these grids. So here I have all the available columns I might consider bringing in here. So whether you're doing unit-based estimates or units of labor, units of equipment utilization, units of material, I can bring those in. Certain commitments. So there's a variety of different attributes that I can be tracking within the budget. And over here, these are the ones that I've chosen to fit into this grid. And I can change the order here by moving them up and down, right? So if I highlighted, if I wanted to go back to that budgeted, revised budgeted amount, I can move that up in the column and it would make the necessary change in my grid. When I'm in a grid, this is a cloud-based solution, but certainly I can download any information from the cloud and bring it into Excel onto my desktop. I can then take and save that document. I can take and save that document. Get back to here. I should reconnect. Go back to mirroring. So I can bring that into Excel. It keeps all the column formatting. It brings all the amounts in. And now I can enable editing and I'm working in Excel. So I can graph this, I can save as, I can do certain things. Maybe I want to get in and I want to do some of my project forecasting at cost at complete or projected cost to complete. So I could take and enter data here, save that, and then when I'm back in Acumatica, not only can I download, but I can upload. So I can go and grab that file and I can upload. So if you're doing Excel-based estimating, we can import your original estimate at the cost code level into the system. When I'm in this grid, if there's a cost that I want to drill down on, say if I want to go and look at this material cost, well, here I can start drilling down into my cost budget. So I could see if there's any cost codes, if there's any commitments that have been issued. Here I have a $7,500 commitment. So by drilling down through my cost budget, I can get to the PO that was issued against that cost code, against that job and that cost code. And here I can see what it is that we've purchased. We're not in a production environment. This is my non-production environment. So when you're on Acumatica, the performance is better. So here's the PO that was issued against this job and this cost code. Here's the materials that I purchased. Right up here, we produce what is the PO, right? So you can create a PO, you can send that PO to your vendor. So jump back into here, I'm into projects, I'm in the PO. From the PO, I can start drilling down. I could drill it, so I'll drill into that PO. From the PO, I can start getting down into the if there's subcontract change orders, or here I can go into the PO history. I can see the invoices that have been distributed against this PO. Brings me back to that AP invoice that we distributed, that 95963 that we distributed against this project and this cost code. I can look at the financial details. The financial details will bring me down to see how it was coded within the GL. So you can see that I applied it as a, to account. This is my GL base account structure. So this particular database is using a 4-digit. If you're on QuickBooks or Sage 50, we're going to really clean up your GL code because we now have a job cost subledger. So I can control where my costs flow from the cost code or from the cost type, from the project task. So the job, the cost code, the cost type, I get to control where that goes in my cost of sale. So I went by drilling down from the budget to the PO to the AP invoice to the journal transaction, all intuitively just drilling down through the system. Close out of there. So that's cost budget. Here's my revenue budget. So when you set up a job, you set up the cost, your schedule of value and the contracts amount. As I get approved change orders, those approved change orders are added on to the contract and allow me to progress. If I want to do my progress billing, I can come in and say which percent complete I am or how much I want to bill this period. Then I can come up and run my project billing. It'll grab those amounts. I didn't mean to institute that task. It would take me through my progress billing, which I wasn't really planning on doing, but if I
Patrick?
Yes, Tom.
Had a question for you. I think this might be more in the field services area, but in terms of tracking employee availability by date and time, is there somewhere in there to track that for scheduling resources?
No, we do not. We do not do resource planning. So I can't look across to see where my staff is. The only resource planning that we do is in our field services, where we can take work orders and we can dispatch those work orders, and we can look at how our service and field service groups, where they are and what work they have coming up in front, but we don't do general resource planning across projects per se.
Okay, so it would be more service oriented. Okay, perfect.
Correct. So where am I? I'm in my project. If I pop up to, so I can close that, get out of here. I have my mobile up on the other as well. So I was in my progress. So here's my revenue budget. I think I went into the different, I'm just gonna pop back one. Get back to where I was. I brought my mobile up while I was going through that revenue contract. Here's my pro forma invoices. Okay, let's go back here. Close that out, get into Burnaby Business Park. So I'll bring that back up. So here's the mobile device. So you'll note anything you can do within the software you can do here. So I could initiate an expense receipt or an expense claim. Any approval, whether it's a PO or a subcontract or a change order or an AP invoice, is going to be sitting here at my fingertips. If you're using our CRM, you can do leads and opportunities and do your pipeline management. If you're an employee looking to enter time, I can enter my time cards here. I can get through and look at any of the dashboards. I can complete a daily field report. I can initiate a change order. I can initiate a project issue. I can add to the photo logs. So again, I could initiate a requisition, or I could receive against a purchase order. All of this extends out to the mobile device using the mobile framework within Acumatica. I'll pop that back over here. I'm now in the revenue budget. I wanted to go to invoices, and I just wanted to bring up a copy of an invoice that had already been invoiced on this project, just show you the format. So here, we invoiced a customer. This was our 4th progress bill, or our first one on this job. If I pop into the files, I have an attachment. So we produce what is the progressed invoice. So this is a cover page saying, hey, here's the contract amount. We've completed 420 to date. We're holding back 42,000. We're adding in taxes. the amount due, and here's the schedule of value and what we progress down against those particular line items. I think I saw another question come up. Can you create custom forms? We have 100-ish safety forms. Some are required weekly, daily, monthly. We do not do safety. So again, if we're thinking about safety, we would look at creating, Procore does safety, SiteMax does safety. There's a number of point solutions. We do not. There is a forms creator that you could create within Acumatica, but it's not a part of our core offering. Just so we're clear there on the safety. I was looking at that invoice. So here we have a progress billing invoice, and here's what we're asking for to substantiate that billing. Close out of there. I have a list. So I went through cost budget. Tasks we set up our tasks to mirror our revenue schedule of value, right? So here are the different line items. We've created tasks. So now I can look at my cost budget and I can group by task, and I can see exactly what costs I've incurred across all of the schedule of value line items in my contract, which is pretty cool. So that's one use of tasks. Tasks can be used for projects within projects. Here I can see a list of every PO and subcontract that was issued on this job. We drilled down into 2316, but this is a breakdown of every commitment on this particular project. I can look at my potential change orders by status. I can look at those that have been converted over to owner change orders. And as those change orders are being approved, they're coming down onto our contract so we can start progress billing against those. How much time did we ask for, Tom, today?
For 45 minutes, so we're just sort of getting near the end of that.
So you'll note that, Acumatica, I think, has done a great job, really, of, having everything related to the project in one space. I can look at my cost budget. I can look at my revenue budget. I can see the balance and how we're tracking on this. So here I have my revenue, my revised revenue, and what we've invoiced. And then I have my cost broken down by cost type, bringing us and talking to us about what our actual amount is against our revenue and how we're tracking on this project, and what our anticipated profitability and the like are. So we had commitments, AR invoices, potential change orders, owner change orders. And then there's a whole series of tasks up here, right? So I can take whatever screen I'm in. We have the ability to move things back, to release, to put on hold, to email, things along those lines. So I can, suspend a project, cancel a project, run my progress billing. I can lock down my budget. I can lock down commitments. I can create a template from this project, create a change request, a change order. I can do project allocations natively from in here. If we have, a development and there's certain natural accumulators that we want to spread across the different divisions or different phases of the project. We have access to reports on this project. These files and attachments are still here. So here, these are attachments at the project level, not at the PO or the subcontract or the AP invoice. If I start typing approval, I can come in and I can get menu items so I can look at my approval maps, right? So here we have approvals for setting up a project, for issuing a subcontract or a PO, or entering time and approving that time. What happens when an AP invoice comes into our system? What do we do with expense receipts and expense claims? Again, just some sample examples of different approval workflows that we can create natively within the system. Well, hopefully we were able to provide you, it was my intention to provide you with a better understanding of who we are as the answer company, who Acumatica is as the publisher of the software, and to give you a high-level overview of what the capabilities of the Acumatica Construction Edition are. I'd like to thank you all for your time today. I know you're very busy. I'm appreciating getting a bit of your mind share. We will follow up by the end of the week to define the next steps to support you in your investigations. Typically, we want to complete a more detailed discovery about what the specific priorities are and why it is that you're considering a change. Then we'd schedule a specific online demo with just your team to address those priorities that you have to ensure that the software is going to meet your requirements. We'd shape out the investment, provide you with some references to talk about who can speak to who we are as the answer company and what it's been like to be on Acumatica. And then following that, we'd be in a position to initiate the implementation. Typically from the time you say go and you'd like to proceed to when you're going to be live, we're looking at about 90 to 150 days. It depends on the complexity of the implementation, your internal resources, both from a skill set and an availability standpoint, and what we define as what's going to be included in the initial phase of the implementation. But if there aren't any more questions, I thank you for your time today, and we will be in touch.